Okay, so we're gonna just come over onto our mats and let's lay down. Let's just come and lay down on our back, stretching our legs out in front of us, letting the weight of our bodies and the weight that's in our minds or our souls just kind of relax and fall into the floor, letting the floor support you and feeling how it feels to just let everything go for a moment. We'll start with a couple deep breaths and then we're going to get into some stretches on our back. So just taking a nice deep inhale in, making your belly big, opening up your chest, and then sighing it out. And with the sigh, just let everything go from the day, if you can. Let's take another deep breath in. And releasing it again. Being okay with the fact that maybe you can't really exactly be here fully, but that's okay. Everything's okay. It's messy, but it's okay. Let's take one more deep breath in. Then let it out. Good. And so we're going to take the right knee and bring it into the chest and just pulling it in and kind of maybe rocking it around in circles, making circles with your knee. If your hips are really sore, you might already even feel this in your glutes and hips. So just back and forth, rocking around. And then you can take some stillness if you want to, giving a moment for the hip to unwind. And this should feel really good in your lower back as well, with the lower back pressed against the ground. It's taking any kind of sway back out of the back. So it should feel good flat against the ground. And then let's straighten the leg and just lift it up to the sky, heel pushing up against the ceiling. And we're gonna get into the hamstrings this way. Nice. So for me, I'm basically just straight leg here and I can feel it in my hamstrings. And that's totally fine. You can grab around the back of your leg, you can grab around your shin or anywhere that is comfortable. And just letting your hamstring unwind here. Let's take a couple deep breaths. I'm just going to talk a little bit while you guys are opening up your hamstring. So we are smack dab in the middle of the Christmas season, and I guess my biggest message is that it doesn't have to be all amazing like it's supposed to be. Like we're just shoved these messages that everything has to be good, everyone has to be happy, we all have to get along with our in-laws, and that's just not going to be the case. That's not realistic. So I think at this time of the year we have to give ourselves extra grace, extra compassion, and just get rid of the shoulds and just accept whatever is. All right, let's take that leg and then move it over with you can take your left hand onto the right leg and just move it across the body. So you're kind of going into a bit of a twist, but trying to keep the right arm on the floor. So we're trying to get into the hip and the IT band here. So inhaling and exhaling here. Hopefully you can feel this in your hip and your IT band. If not, straighten the leg a little bit more and try to lift the leg, try to push it out of the hip socket. Couple deep breaths here. One more. And then you can take that leg and bring the knee back into the chest just for a moment. And then we're going to open it up to the right. So now you can have your knee fall open to the right. It doesn't have to be straight. You could do it straight or you could do it bent. I like it bent. So more like a half happy baby for me. So I'm just opening up that knee to the side. And I'm supporting the knee with my right hand. And then my left hand is on my hip bone, trying to push that side down. Yeah, nice. So opening up that right groin, the pelvis area. One more breath here. Good, and then you can bring the knee up. Quick pull into the chest, and straighten the leg. And just take a second to feel into the right hip, into the right groin. What does it feel like compared to the left one? Awesome. And then, so let's switch to the other side now, bringing the left knee into the chest. Pulling the knee in. And just moving it around in circles if that feels good. Or you can be still, whatever's better for you. Kind of like stirring a pot of, I don't know, maybe some eggnog. Homemade eggnog with some rum in it. And then moving the other way. Getting into that joint, some mobility in there, and lubing up everything. And then when you're ready, straighten your leg and push the heel towards the ceiling. So if you flex the toes down towards you, you're gonna definitely get a better stretch. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, use a strap or a scarf, anything like that. That is such a great idea. So let's just breathe into the hamstring here. Again, you want to feel your leg moving out of the hip joint, so pushing it up towards the sky and then bringing it back a bit if you can. Breathing here. So Christmas isn't the greatest time of the year for everyone, and maybe we're all scared to mention that because the pressure that we're under, and it could be because there was a loss near this time, or there was a loss and so holidays are hard. It could be because you have to spend time with your in-laws that are stressful and you don't get along with. It just could be because you're under pressure as a woman to do all of the things, right? You got to bake the Christmas cookies, go to the recital, go to the Christmas play, have your kids all ready for everything, get the perfect presents, like it's just on and on. So let's take our leg now and bring it over across our bodies to the right. So just letting it fall. It'll be a nice straight leg to get into the IT band. If it's bent, it's going to get more into the glute. But if you keep it nice and straight and pushing out of the hip socket, you should feel a really intense stretch in the IT band. You can take your right hand and place it on your left leg to almost pull it down a little bit more. And then the left hand is reaching out towards the left. So breathing here. Oh, that feels so good. I hope you guys are getting into the IT band because this one is incredible. So one more breath here. And on the exhale, you can bring your knee in just for a moment into your chest. Just give it a little squeeze. And then we'll let it fall open to the left now. Right arm reaches out towards the right. And left hip opens up. Oh yeah, and you can put your right hand on your left hip, on your right hip bone to kind of keep it down on the ground. And then just opening up here, feeling that intense opening through your groin. So I guess the answer to the Christmas stress and holiday stress is just kind of being more gentle with yourself, lowering your expectations a little bit. You know, you still have to do all the things maybe, but what are some of the things that maybe aren't, you don't have to? What can you drop off the list? And you know, as you're doing all these things and maybe you're feeling grouchy, just giving yourself permission to feel grouchy and not put in a second arrow by judging your grouchiness. Oh, it's Christmas time, I'm supposed to be happy. All right, bringing the leg back in. Quick squeeze to the chest. Awesome, and then letting both legs come out nice and long. Oh, how's that feel? Hopefully better already. And now we're going to gently push ourselves up. Oh, and we're gonna roll, well, we're gonna come onto our knees into all fours for just a classic cat-cow, opening up the spine, opening up the chest. So when you're inhaling, you're pushing your heart through, dropping your belly, lifting your bum, and on the exhale, rounding up the back and the shoulders. Oh, that should feel good on the upper back. And then exhaling, opening up. Just a couple more on your own time, whatever feels good. Just to get some mobility in the spine, lower back, opening up the vertebrae. Just a couple more of those. And then coming back to neutral, we will get into the shoulders a little bit here. We'll do thread the needle, so opening up to the right side, opening your chest and reaching towards the ceiling for a minute. And then when you're exhaling, you're threading through, cheek placed gently on the ground. Opening up your upper back, your right shoulder. Maybe bringing your hips a bit to the right, and then just enjoying this opening. Try to make the breath really long. Try to even push it into the upper back and the shoulder if you can imagine your breath going there. So one more breath. And then on the inhale, opening up to the right, reaching up to the ceiling, and setting the hand back down on the mat. Let's do that on the left side now. So opening up to the left, stretching up, reaching the hand up to the ceiling, and then pushing it through. Resting gently on the floor. You can tent your right hand just to give you a little bit of support. And then imagining that breath moving into your upper back, your rib cage. Opening up the shoulder and even feeling the opening in the neck a little bit. And then one more really deep, slow, long breath here. And on the next inhale, opening up to the left, reaching up towards the ceiling, stretching that arm open, and then bringing it back down. Okay, let's push up into downward dog for a minute, if that's okay. This is just going to be kind of a transition pose. But of course, for me, this always feels amazing on the backs of my legs because they're perpetually tight. So I'm usually doing a downward dog every single day. Pushing into your palms, Strength through the arms. Back is straight. Shoulders are relaxed. Taking a deep breath. And on the exhale, walking up to the front of your mat and meeting me there in a ragdoll forward fold. Letting everything go. You can shake out your head, yes and no. If you want to get into your shoulders and your chest a little more, you can clasp your hands behind your back. Let your hands come over, fall over your head, or at least the feeling of that. Opening up the chest and the shoulders. And then letting that go. Bending your knees a bit and tightening your core. Come on up. When we reach the top, we're going to reach our hands up to the ceiling. Good. And then just doing a bit of a side stretch here. So then dropping the left hand and crescenting. That's a new one. Well, it is kind of a crescent. Oh. So making sure your shoulder isn't coming up by your ear. Drop your shoulder and feel that opening all the way from the bottom of your foot, the edge of your foot, all the way up to the top of your fingertips. And then inhaling, reaching up and moving to the other side, opening up through the rib cage, diaphragm. I can even feel this with some muscles that are attached to my hip right here. And one more breath here. And then releasing that down. Let's just shake everything out. Maybe roll the shoulders back a couple times. Good. We'll get into the shoulders a little bit more now, and then we'll work into the hips as well. So let's do a half, what is it? Why am I blanking? I think I'm in perimenopause because I blank on words a lot. Okay, let me just describe how to get in it. So hands are in a T. I just realized I need to fix my video a bit. There we go. Hands are in a T, taking your right hand and bringing it under your left arm. Yeah, and then we're wrapping our arms around each other, and your hand should be in like a prayer position. So this is just gonna get really deeply into our shoulders. So making sure your shoulders are relaxed. And then we're gonna go into a chair from here. You could do full eagle if you want, but this is gonna be too hard on the knee. Eagle, that's what it is. So full eagle, you would wrap your leg around your other leg, your right leg around your left leg, and then you would go down into like a chair. Yeah, good. But I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm just gonna do it into a chair. And then we can move a little bit here. So on the, actually, if you're in full eagle, no, we're not gonna move. Let's just stay here and inhaling. This should be opening up the back, strengthening the legs. And then on the next inhale, coming on out and letting the arms go out to a T again. Bringing them down and just shake it out a little bit. That's a really intense stretch for the shoulders, I find. And let's do that on the other side now. So eagle on the other side. This time your left arm comes under your right arm and you're wrapping them around each other. And then what you want to do is you want to relax your shoulders so they're coming down, and then you can slightly lift your arms. And you can feel a different stretch, like in different positions with your arms. If they're lifted, you might feel it somewhere else. And then if you're getting into full eagle, you can sit down into a chair first and then wrap the left leg around the right one. Just be really careful with the knee here. I'm going into just a chair. And then let's breathe here. Just one more breath and then we can release. Good. Okay, on the exhale, coming on up, unwinding the arms. That should feel really good to open them up like that and shaking it out. Grabbing a quick sip of water if you want. We have about, I think, 10 more minutes. So for the next one, we're going to go into, let's just come to the top of our mats and start like that. And then we'll take the left foot and bring it back about a couple feet. We're doing a triangle now, so don't bring it back like super far back like we would for a lunge. Yeah, so perfect, looks good. So your hips can be facing forward, your right toe is facing the front of the room, and then come into a T for the arms. And then you can reach with your right hand as you push out with your left hip. You're just trying to get some length. And then you can tip over into triangle. I'm going to use a block here because I don't go down very far. Good. And then just check in with the left shoulder. Also have a micro bend in your right knee. Don't straighten it all the way. I'm going to put my hand right onto my waist because my shoulders are really sore. So just breathing here. You're wanting to feel length in your side body, so not letting it collapse, but feeling that length, the long spine, straight neck. Good. And then we're gonna we're basically gonna move towards the front of our mat now. So take your torso and your left foot and bring it all to face forward. Whoop. Yeah, however that looks for you. Good, because we're now in pyramid. So facing forward, toes are forward, hips are forward. Let's get into the IT band a little bit more here. So right hand is on the hip, left hand comes up and reaches towards the sky, and then you're gonna reach out towards the front and try to touch the front of the room. Good, and then when you're at a place where you feel like your hamstring is getting a really good stretch, you're just gonna take that left hand onto wherever it falls, onto your right leg, and then you're gonna open up and try to twist a little bit to the right. So it might look like a really small movement, yeah, but you're gonna feel this in your right IT band. If you don't, take your right hip and push it back in space. Left hip can come forward, right hip can come back, and then you should feel it in your IT band. 2 breaths here. And then when you're ready, you can come back to neutral, just back up to pyramid. Good. And then stepping to the top of the mat. Let's do a half sun salutation to just rinse that out, and then we'll go on to the other side. So inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, half back, half lift. Exhaling, folding forward. And then inhaling, reaching up again. And hands come to the side. Great, okay, now we'll do the other side. So taking the right foot and stepping it back. Just gonna change positions. So this time your left toe is facing forward, right foot is back. Just get into a nice sturdy position there. Feel like your hips are facing forward. And then your arms can go into a T and doing that big reach to the front of the room, like you're trying to touch the front wall. And right hip comes out, and then you can tip over into your triangle. Trikonasana. Very nice. I need my block again. Looks good. If your neck is not enjoying this, you can just take your head and look right down to the mat. Remember, you're lifting up through the torso, you're lifting out through the torso, you're not collapsing. And then hand comes to back if your shoulder's sore. One more breath, and then we will transition forward like we did on the other side. So coming, facing forward now, right foot faces forward as well as left foot. And this is the start of pyramid, but we're doing a twist in pyramid. So left hand can come to the waist and then reaching up with the right hand, reaching up as tall as you can get, and then reaching forward as much as you can. And then when your hamstrings say no more, you still, like you have a flat back. Yeah, perfect. Yes, you guys are doing it. You have a flat back. And then you're reaching your left hand over to the left side of your leg because you're going to get your hand to help you twist a little bit. So then inhaling there, reach out with the crown, make sure your back is really flat. And then exhaling, twisting to the left. It might be a micro twist. It might not feel like anything huge, but yeah, looks good, you guys. Awesome. So breathing there, feeling that in your, hopefully in your IT band on the left. Moving your right hip back in, moving your right hip forward in space and the left hip back in space. That should intensify the stretch. And then we'll come on out, just coming up to neutral. There we go. Stepping to the front of the mat. And we'll do another half sun salute. So inhaling, reaching up, and exhaling, diving forward. Inhaling, flattening our back, lengthening the spine, and exhaling, folding forward. And we'll come on up, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, just because that feels really good, and you get a bit of a neck stretch. Then when you come to the top, rolling your shoulders back. So up, back, and down. Holy, mine are so crackly. I could do that all night. Okay, good. So I want to get a little bit more into hips before we close, keeping in mind your knee, Jackie. So I think the best thing to do then is to come down onto our bums and to do a supine pigeon. Hopefully that will be okay for your knee. So coming down, and if you want, you can have a little pillow under your head. I don't know, right? Tonight I need a pillow under my head, so I'm going to do that. It's my block. And taking the right ankle and crossing it over the left knee. Yeah, okay, it feels good. Jackie is already pulling it in, so that must feel okay. So then pulling your knee in, and if that's not quite enough of a stretch, take your right foot and flex it, and then you should be able to get even deeper into the right hip. So I like to rock around a bit, just moving around, getting into all the areas. And then I think for this one, I'm going to get more into the IT band. I'm like obsessed with the IT band tonight. So what I'm going to do, like in order to do that, we're basically going to drop the whole situation over to the left. So it's kind of like a twist. Yeah, exactly. And you should feel this in your hip and your IT band. Hopefully it's okay on your knee, Jackie. I think it should be because there's no twisting involved. So just breathing into that for a second. And after one more breath, we'll come up and switch sides. However you get there. Maybe you need to wiggle around a little bit. Now putting your left knee, your left ankle over your right knee. Yeah, clasping behind your right knee and bringing it all in to get that stretch on the left glute, left hip. Making sure your shoulders are relaxed and you haven't tensed them up in the meantime. And then whenever you want, you can drop everything over to the right. I would actually put my left hand out to the left and then just drop that whole thing over to the right. You can grab your left ankle with your right hand for even more of an intense stretch. And then again, just relaxing the neck. Two deep breaths here. One more deep breath. Good, and then you can come back to center. And just hugging the knees into the chest one more time because it feels so good. Maybe rocking around a little bit. And then you can make your way into Shavasana. Straightening out your legs. And if you want, sometimes I like to kind of put my arms out, like just flailing out and kind of above my head. It like opens the chest and the shoulders a little bit more. If that felt good, you could do that. So they're like in a T, but a little bit even more facing upwards. And taking a couple deep breaths here, letting the practice sink in. Letting our body absorb the work we just did, absorb the stretches, absorb some of the downtime. And just relaxing here, letting everything sink down to the floor. Having your eyes closed. And again, just knowing that it's very normal not to feel merry and bright this time of year. And if you do, that's great. I really love Christmas. I love the baking and I love getting together with friends. But a lot of the other stuff can be stressful. So just know that you're not alone if you do have stress during the holidays, and that way too much pressure and expectations are put on us, and we also put those on ourselves. So again, if you can drop anything from the to-do list, or if you can add something that's fun and that nourishes you to the to-do list, awesome. Just one more breath here. And then you can roll over onto either side. Pushing yourself up into a seated pose. Opening the eyes, coming back into the room. All ready for the next thing you have to do tonight. And namaste. Thank you so much for joining in this super busy time of year. We totally need it.